Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Before we get started, please like, subscribe, comment, and share this with a friend. Thank you guys so much for watching all my videos and thank you guys for all the support. Alright, so I've been getting quite a little bit of suggestion and questions for Arizona in my 2024 election prediction. Now Arizona is a state that I think could go either way at this point. Arizona is very competitive. It's a state that Biden barely flipped in 2020 and a state that Trump won by around 4 points in 2016. And it's definitely going to be one of the closest races in 2024 as it had been in 2020. So I thought it was a good idea to take this video to really look at some of the polls and see where Arizona's at. This is a start to a new series in which I will look at the main 6 battleground states and analyze them and then give my race rating at the end. So to begin with Arizona, first we're going to look at some polls, the two-way race between Biden and Trump, and then some on the 5-way race on realclearpolitics.com and DDHQ/The So to begin with, on RCP, Trump has a very commanding lead of 5.2% based on the 5 most recent polls. But if we scroll down, Biden hasn't led a single poll in Arizona since April of 2023. And ever since that point, Trump's led every single poll by at least 2 points. And up till this year, in the past, since January, he's led all of them by at least 3%. So that's definitely a good sign for Donald Trump. And we could say the same thing about the polls on the polling aggregate on DDHQ/The He also leads by 4.6%, which is almost identical to the 5.2%, very little amount. And if you scroll down, all the polls included here also have Trump up, and you would have to scroll down a very far distance to even find a poll where Biden had led. So this is definitely a warning sign for Biden that he cannot lead in a single poll in Arizona, of which in 2020 he had led most of the polls leading up, and the polls did overestimate Joe Biden by a little bit, but they're fairly accurate. So it's definitely good to see that the polls in Arizona are more accurate than other states, such as the Rust Belt. And if we scroll down here, Biden had led most of the polls, almost all the polls leading into the 2020 election, and of which he ended barely clinching the state. But I'm going to go into one poll more specifically, and it's going to be this the Hill Emerson poll that was released earlier last month. And so basically in this poll, we can see that Trump has a 4-point lead on Biden. And this has stayed relatively consistent through all of their polling since August. There has been less and less undecideds or someone else. And it's up to all the way down to 8% at this point. And Trump seems to keep his lead and actually expanded a little bit from last month's, from the undecideds going down from 12% all the way to 8%. So if we go towards more of the crosstabs, and these could tell us a lot about the state of the race in Arizona, we can see here that only 28% of Americans, the Americans surveyed, the Arizonians surveyed, feel that the country is going in the right direction. Meanwhile, 50% think it's going on the wrong track, the wrong direction, and another 22% say it's neutral. If we scroll down right below, we can see that Joe Biden has a horrible 35.6% approval rating in Arizona and a 55.5% disapproval rating, with 9% saying they're neutral. A 35% approval rating in Arizona is absolutely atrocious, to say the least, and it's definitely not going to help him maintain his majority in the state, of which he had barely clinched in the 2020 election. He would have to grab a lot of independent support from that 35% to really build on it. He would have to get a lot of voters who, number one, absolutely despise Trump, or number two, don't know who else to vote for or don't have any other candidates that they really like, to really come over to Biden. In reference to those undecided voters, they actually asked undecideds who they're leaning towards, and 52.6% of undecideds say they're leaning towards Trump, while only 47.4 say they're leaning towards Biden, in a state where Biden needs to make up the margin. But it's not all bad for Joe Biden, because in the 2020 presidential election, he was the first Democrat to win the state since 1996 Bill Clinton. He won it by around 11,000 votes, but that was huge because the previous 4 years ago, Trump had won the state by around 4 points. He did this very well by swinging the two most important counties to the left by not a lot, but a significant amount, where any other swings in other smaller counties didn't make too much of a difference. So for example, the largest county, Maricopa County, swung around 5% more Democrat. And as you can see here, this gave Biden 1 million votes. And any other county, of which we can name a couple, such as Yuma and Santa Cruz, swung sometimes larger margins, like 12 points in Santa Cruz. But Trump only got 6,000 votes, 10,000 votes here, 2,000 here, 36,000 here. So that definitely does not even make a dent into Joe Biden's gains in Maricopa, as well as in the second largest county, Pima County. Biden also made a slight gain at Pima County, where he had around 304,000 votes. So that definitely did help him pick up the state entirely. And all the population is based mostly around Pima, Maricopa, and Pinal County. So whoever makes gains in these three counties is most likely the one who's going to win the state. If we want to look into some even more further detail, we can look at how Arizona voted per precinct. So it's very important to look at Phoenix. Phoenix, obviously the downtown area, very blue, very Biden friendly. But as you move out, it becomes very Trump friendly. And same thing with Tucson, downtown, and a lot more of the suburbs are very Biden friendly. But as you move out, it definitely becomes more Trump friendly, where he does run up the margins some of these rural areas. And Trump does have his very good spots, like in some of these, like in Surprise, does well in Buckeye, and he definitely does well in this county right here, Mojave County, a very Trump friendly county. But if we click the change from 2016, we can really see a lot more blue around the map than red, especially in places that matter, such as Phoenix. I mean, sure, the downtown did swing a little bit to the right, but the overall swing, the huge swing, was to the left among the suburbs. And this is where most people in Phoenix do live. Most people live in the suburbs. And that's the same thing with Tucson. A lot of these northern and eastern suburbs swung very much heavy towards Biden. 7 points here, 13 points here, 15 here, 12 here. And all these definitely add up to help Biden clinch the state by a very, very small 11,000 votes. But the problem is, that's when Biden won the state, he had also won the popular vote by around 4.5. The polls this election do show a swing back to the right. And currently, Trump does hold a 1-point advantage nationally. So if that does hold, I do expect Arizona to swing back right, but I expect it to trend left. So what does that mean exactly? It means that I expect Arizona to be more left as compared to the country than 4 years ago. But it will be hard for Joe Biden to make up that 5-point deficit if this continues throughout the rest of the cycle, throughout the rest of the campaign. And since a lot of people are talking about Kennedy now and Kennedy's addition, and he's probably going to make it on the ballot. And if he does make it on the ballot, it shows Trump actually extending his lead to 6 points. So this is very, very worrisome for Biden. And so currently I would have to say that despite these very favorable trends towards Biden, currently a lot of the polls and a lot of the current evidence we have to show who is really in the race consistently show Trump leading. And there is not a single poll in the past year that has even showed Biden in the lead at all. So this does lead me to believe that this state, this time around, and according to now, these predictions could change because it's only April. We still got 6-7 months left. But as of now, I think Arizona slightly favors Trump. I think Trump, as of now, will clinch a state by around a couple percent, 1-2%, maybe at most 3%. But I do think that Biden will make it up a little bit in the polls. I don't think that Trump will actually end up winning by 5.2%. I think Biden will definitely catch up. I see Arizona definitely flipping back blue in 2028 if the right Democrat comes around. It's a very, very favorable state for Democrats, but Joe Biden is so unpopular that this time is probably one of the final times that Republicans can really win the state. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.